Hello, 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 hello. It is Thursday. It is Thursday, and we have two topics as per usual. Yeah, hope you had a great day. Hope you enjoyed your Thursday, or maybe you're watching it later as a video. That's also possible. Probably more likely. Yeah, today we have two topics. First of all, of course, the quick sketch. We have an interesting, I guess, subject for today. What we want to scope today, and then afterwards we're gonna go back and look at all the new submissions that have been submitted in the Discord. Yeah, if you want to submit your own art pieces that we will then give feedback on live on stream, then you can as a personal feedback for your own pieces, then you can join the Discord. The link should be in the description. And today we have a few submissions. I think we have 3 so far, which we're going to look at and we're going to give feedback on. That's going to be today's main topic. And if we have some more time afterwards, we're going to go into we're going to go back to the Final Fantasy character. We'll see. We'll see how long the feedback session will go. So yeah, if you watch this later and you're interested in either one of these topics, you should see timestamps in the description or also in the timeline. So that you don't have to look for, when each topic begins. We're going to begin with the quick sketch. So how about we go into Blender? There you go. Ooh. Here we are, back in Blender. This looks familiar. And you can see what today's subject is. Today's subject is pretty simple. But, that doesn't mean that it's, that we can take it easy. Yeah, we'll see how this turns out. I'm probably not gonna, we'll see if we do these, like, I plan on making this symmetrical. So maybe we don't do these different hand positions. Maybe we just make it so that they're like close to the body. We'll see. But today we will sculpt Hello Kitty. She's already, I looked it up. I don't know why, but I was curious. She's 47 years old this year. Pretty old. Yeah. And that's a quick fun fact on the side, I guess. We can begin, I would say. There's not much really to do, except for do this quick sketch, and then we can go right into the personal feedback. So the timer is ready. Welcome back, Manika. Hope you've enjoyed your time. Hope you had a great Thursday. Welcome back. Yeah, it is time for the sculpt. The timer is ready. I am ready. Hopefully you are ready as well. I don't need this anymore. Perfect. Okay. Everything's ready. So we can begin the quick sketch. I would say 3, 2, 1, go. There you go. Perfect. Okay. Let's begin. So, okay. Of course, as always, I like to start with the head. While I was looking up the fun fact that she's, I guess it's a she, but that she's 47 years old. I also read that this is actually, that she's not supposed to be a cat. I don't know what Hello Kitty could be, otherwise, but, I could have looked it up, but I didn't. So that was my fault, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it could be some sort of other animal that looks almost like a cat. I don't know. Maybe a seal. I don't know. But yeah, we're gonna begin with the head. The head is pretty simple, the head shape. But the good thing is, if we have, if the subject is quite simple, we have more time to look at the detail and fine tune those. Or, we have some more time to maybe add these different hands, I guess. The hand gesture, hand position. Usually asymmetry takes a little bit longer, just because, with symmetry you only have to work on one side, as we do right here. Without symmetry, that's a little bit different. We have to work on both sides, or we have to basically do the same on both sides. We have to create both sides at the same, not at the same time, but we have to do them manually. We cannot just rely on symmetry to copy everything that you do on one side to the other side. We tried previously, or we tried just recently, basically sculpting a asymmetrical piece with, you know, yeah, asymmetrical pose. I think it was like a cat, and that didn't go that well. It looked pretty bad in the end, you know, but you have to do these experiments from time to time, test your limits. And yeah, you know, if the I guess pose is too complex, or just overall too, yeah, basically too complex, then it's not really possible to create a good pose, let's say, in 30 minutes, at least not for me. Okay, I think the ears are a little bit too sharp. I think we can kind of round them out a little bit more. Just kind of doing this. There you go. Okay. I think the head is also less like an oval and more like a... I mean, it's more like an oval. Right now it's less like an oval, the sculpt. Kind of fine-tune that. We can maybe even sculpt in the eye position. Then we're gonna give her the eyes later. There you go. Grab this. Actually, I want to make the head probably a little bit thinner. Just push it together, just a little bit. There you go. Smooth it. Okay. Okay. So let's put in the eyes. The eyes are pretty simple. We can just use a mask to, you know, mask them out. We don't really have to immediately go into it and use the the normal brushes to, you know, sculpt in the eyes. What is actually interesting is that the eyes are very far apart for her. Looking at usual, I guess, cartoon characters, or in general characters, they usually have either, I guess, normal, like a normal eye position, or they're closer together. I think it's pretty rare that you see, I guess, cute, so like animals that are supposed to look cute have eyes that are far apart. I think that is more reserved for, like, I guess, it sounds kind of weird, but like goofy characters, or more like comical characters, rather than, you know, like cute characters, I guess. But for her, that's the case. I'm not going to judge her, okay? I'm not going to eye shame her. I just wanted to state a fact. There you go. Make it a little bit smaller. Okay, I think that's a good beginning. Let's bring in the body. There are actually some tools that I've never seen and never used. Those tools. The very, very basic tools like scale, rotate, move. We can look at like an example of how we can use it. So if you, for example, now go underneath here and we kind of mask out the body like this. Maybe a little bit more here. There you go. And then we invert it so that the inside is selected. And then we use the move brush. You can see what happens. We now get this gizmo. And then as far as I know, we can just move it down and we can pull out more geometry. I've never used it that way. I think it's a good way to, you know, work, or it's a good thing to work with if you want to be very technical with your sculpt. But, you know, I don't know if it's really, you know, that useful. Welcome back, Nathan. Hope you've enjoyed your Thursday. Maybe you learned something new. Maybe you created a sick new character. Maybe a sick new, I don't know, car in Blender. Maybe you just, I don't know, enjoyed your day. Hope it was great. Okay. This is a little bit too small. This kind of reminds me of this Pokemon, this ghost Pokemon from, I think, Black and White. That I think dresses like Pikachu, but it's not Pikachu. It tries to like act like Pikachu, or it's like this sort of ghost Pokemon. That's what it looks like right now. We need more thickness here on the body. There you go. More. We need more. We probably, yeah, I don't want to go too far, like forward and backwards. in these directions here. I want to go more to the side. I think this is more like a, you know, she's not really round. She's more, I guess, wide as normal people are. I'm not saying she's a normal person, but, you know, relating it back to human proportions, I guess, you can say that that humans are more wide than deep. Okay, we can bring in the legs, pretty simple legs, just like this sort of line here in the middle. More like elephant legs than anything else, but that's, you know, that's the style. There you go. I think is the body too small? I think we can pull it out a little bit more, so let's do that. There you go. Okay, nice little heart shape here. Making sure that the foot at the back isn't higher than it is in the front. Okay. Looks kind of weird right now, but we're still working on it, okay? Okay. Let's put in the arms. I'm gonna probably... Should we make asymmetrical arms? We could do that. Yeah, let's do that. So we're gonna make one, basically just put it... No, wait, let's actually try recreate the arms that we can see in the reference. We don't really see where they come from necessarily, but I would just guess that they come from here. You know, where usually the shoulder is. We can maybe draw it out. There you go, and then, you know, she's doing this sort of motion here. There you go. Okay, invert. Grab the good old snake hook brush. Oh, we actually need to remove symmetry now. There you go. Okay. Then we have the thumb right here. Little mitten thumb right there. Perfect. Let's make the arm a little bit more, you know, significant. Right now we don't really see it. Okay, perfect. Remove this part here. It's kind of merged with the body. I want to separate the two. 20 minutes left, easy, so we have so much time. We're gonna make the perfect Hello Kitty. I wanted to say Hello Kitten. Hello Kitty in 3D. There you go. Little thumb right there. Make it a little bit... Actually, no, it's actually very, very, very small. So we can probably keep it like this. Although the arm is a little bit too low, so we're gonna just pull it up and then that should be good. There you go. It's pretty short, but I think that's that's a good position, at least for the first sketch. We're probably gonna come back to this just to kind of, you know, fine tune it. Let's do the other side. So the other side is holding a flower. Let's see. So that means we need to just, I guess, pull it forward like this. There you go. Invert, grab the snake hook brush and pull out geometry. Not too much here at the top because the shoulder, you know, connects to the body. And then this actually needs to go forward just slightly so that she can hold something. And then let's disconnect the arm from the body and also merge it together slightly here. There you go. Okay, maybe we need to pull it higher. Maybe not. I think the arm shouldn't be much longer than the other one. So we can probably just make it a little bit wider here. And then we can create this sort of fist shape slightly like this, so that it's kind of resting in there. Oh, I forgot to enable front faces only. There you go. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna try the technique that we tried yesterday again, where we will add a color afterwards, just a single color to the black and white image. I think that looked pretty cool yesterday, and I wanted to, I guess, explore that style a little bit more. And yeah, that's what we're going to do today as well. I thought about maybe doing it in Blender, but I'm not quite sure if that actually would work because of the way lights usually work. Well, we can try. We definitely can try. Okay. Let's see. What if we put in... I want to see if it looks okay if we add the clothing or if we need to do some more adjustments here. Oh, that's quite high. There you go. Okay, then we go up here and make this nice little turn. It seems like the arms actually have these, what are they called? Sleeves. Very difficult word. There you go. Let's see if it looks, you know, like Hello Kitty, if we add everything here, like the outfit, if it actually looks like her, at least, you know, it goes in that direction. We can still fine tune it. There you go. I guess we have the same in the bag, like this. Slightly. Looks kind of rough right now, but that's okay. Okay, I think the arms are a little bit too deep, or too low, not too deep. They're too low right now. I think so. I think I'm gonna actually create the outfit now, and then we can adjust the rest. Okay. There you go. Okay. I guess it looks somewhat like her. We also need to add the bow and the flower. How about an outline? Yeah, I like to stick with just what is it? Sculpting. So yeah, I usually try to basically create, for example, like comic characters or whatever, with the sculpting tools. I'm not using like materials, for example, necessarily. Yeah, but I would definitely do that if that would just be like a normal project, I guess you could say, where we don't, you know, just have 30 minutes. Welcome back, T-Apocalypse. Hope you enjoyed your day. Hope you had a great Thursday. You know you can paint in vertex mode. Why don't you use it? Yeah, I can paint in vertex mode, but I like to keep the sculpt within 30 minutes and then basically just do a few adjustments here and there to you know, don't, you know, go overboard with the, I guess, work that I want to put in these quick sketches, because they're, you know, supposed to be quick. So all I really want to do after I've done sculpting whatever I'm sculpting, I just do a few, you know, post-processing adjustments and render the image, and then that's basically it. Maybe we need to pull the arms, I mean the legs a little bit higher. Oh. There you go. I think that's definitely better. Maybe we need to make her slimmer. There you go. I think the head is too far off the head, I mean the body. We can probably fix that though with just pulling up a good old mask and then pushing everything up. That should fix it. Yeah, I think the head looks kind of disconnected because it's so far off the... It has like such a long neck. We can probably just pull it down. We can try something. What if we smooth this? No, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. Okay. There you go. We're going to grab the good old snake hook and we're going to push it up. Oh. Okay. Maybe we need to adjust the head as well. Just slightly pushing it down so there's more weight on the bottom part. There you go. We should probably also grab the or create some whiskers. Right now, you know, she's pretty whiskerless. There you go. Maybe pull it even lower. Let's see. Yeah, it's getting better. Maybe the head overall is a little bit too big. Although, I think the proportions look okay. Look acceptable. There you go. Let's smooth the edge that we've created here. We've just pushed vertices together. How about we... Wait, actually we can keep that edge. Makes it nice and sharp. There you go. Okay. Let's add the bow. No, let's add the small whiskers first. I think what I want to do here for that would be to add more resolution. Let's set it to 50. There you go. Let's add some more geometry here to the side. There you go. Maybe we need even more, but I'm going to keep it there for now. And then we're going to grab the good old mask brush, mask out 3 whiskers. We can probably go back to symmetry now, because now we can basically, you know... Oh, we need to... Okay, we have to apply more geometry again. Because I didn't activate symmetry before. There you go. Okay. So once above the eye, somewhere over here. It's kind of weird that they're on the outside of the head. Next to the eyes, basically. There you go. Maybe it doesn't work in 3D. Maybe it does. Maybe we'll create a monster. We'll see. Let's see. I mean, I think that's okay. Make them nice and round. There you go. They're actually quite short, so I'm going to make them a little bit shorter. And they're quite straight as well. This one's a little bit longer. Okay. Getting closer. Let's see. Let's add the bow. I think for the bow we need to make a new object. I don't think we can sculpt it in that easily. We have 10 minutes left. I think if we would do it like in here, that would take too long. Okay, let's add the smallest bow there. Grab a good old cube. We probably need more than just one, but we can start with one. Add a good old subdivision modifier. Nice and flat. Tough little challenge. Yeah, cartoon sculpts have their own little challenges, especially because you have so much you need to sort of interpret. You can't just, you know, turn 2D into 3D. You always kind of have to think about, okay, well, there's this 2D thing. What would it look like in 3D? And then you kind of have to develop like an idea what it could look like. I don't have the reference right now. Hold on. So what does it look like? Show me. Oh, okay, so it has... I wonder how we can make this shape. Let's make the big shape first. There you go. Make this nice and small here. We need to pull it further over here. There you go. Nice and small. Pull these two edges further out. There you go. And then we do the same on the other side. Rotate. I'm not going to use the mirror modifier just because, well, why not? It's probably easier. There you go. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, we can probably sculpt the rest. So let's, I guess, apply all this and then we can do the rest in sculpting. Let's boolean these two together. Merge them. Union. Perfect. huge bow. Let's make it smaller. It's definitely coming together. It was better than before. I think before there wasn't really any big characteristics of her, so it looked kind of weird. But now it's definitely coming together with more and more of these. Put it right there. There you go. Okay. Go into sculpting. Let's adjust it a little bit. So we might not even need dynamic topology. Let's see. So what if we just sculpt in here? Maybe it's a little bit, no, not enough geometry. Yeah, we need a little bit more. Can we? No, we have to sculpt it. Okay. Thought about just adding a subdivision modifier, but because we've Boolean everything together, I don't think that that would end well. There you go. Refining the edge here, just to, see the clear difference between the two objects or the two pieces. There you go. We have 6 minutes. Okay. Smooth it. Okay. It's definitely getting better. I think this needs to be a little bit... actually, it's quite small. But this one also has a different shape, the bow itself. So why don't we adjust it a little bit. Push it over here a little more. There you go. Do the same on the other side. I know the shape is too round, or there's too much of a circle you can see, but it's more like a half circle, but that's what I'll do, okay? We have just a few minutes left. I don't want to optimize the circle properties, okay? There you go. We could add a line, yeah. But I think that's good enough. I think it's visible. The sort of line, the contour, because of the shadow. Push it back, there you go. Okay. Clean it up a little bit, bring it closer together, and then we have the nice little bow. We also have the flower. How much time do we have? 5 minutes? That should be enough. We don't need this anymore. We need... the flower is actually just one image. I mean, one piece. Or one shape. Let's see if we can make this real quick. We can actually use, I guess, a cube for that. I want to add... Should we add thickness? No, let's use a plane. And then... we could just draw it on, but that could look weird. How do we create this shape very easily? I guess we could create individual shapes, but then we need to merge them somehow. Maybe we use a cube. There you go. We then use a good old empty. There you go. Wait. Put it right into the middle of the cube. Use an empty. There it is. We move this out. Then we go in here and we use an array modifier. Set it to object offset, not relative offset. And then we use the empty. We apply the scale and we rotate it. There you go. We probably need to apply a subdivision modifier as well. There you go. That's good. And then we need more. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. There you go. Well, they're a little bit too small. We probably need to rotate them more as well. That's better. Scale it. That's pretty good. Maybe scale it wider. I mean, longer. There you go. And flatter. Perfect. Okay. as flat as it can get, so we can see the creases almost like at all. And then apply. We have 3 minutes, perfect. We need a middle piece as well. I guess we can just add one. Again, subdivision. Make it very, very small. Perfect. Okay. And then we need a stem, I guess, whatever that's called. So we can probably use a curve for that. Shouldn't be too hard to, I think a curve would be the easiest one to use. Let's use a path curve, because all other curves are just absolutely annoying. And then we can use, we can go here and then geometry. There it is. Fill caps, and then we have a nice little stem right there. Okay, let's put that in her hand first, and then we can continue with the rest. There you go. Now she's holding a fighting stick. She's ready for war. Let's fix that real quick. Okay, this is definitely too big. Oh, that's the wrong button. Wait. Oh, there we go. It's Alt S. I always forget that it's not Control S. It's Alt S when you want to scale a curve. There you go. It's not really in her hand in the sketch, but I kind of want to have it in her hand to make it make more sense. There you go. Okay. Go in here. Parent this to there. Now we can move it, scale it down. Oh. There you go. We can probably make it smooth. That'll probably make it look a little bit better. There you go. Well, it's smoother definitely, but maybe not better. But let's put it in here. Okay. Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful little kitten? Okay. Make the flower that big. Perfect. Doesn't even have to connect to this thing. Just supposed to be, you know, representing the illustration. There you go. Okay, perfect. Beautiful. Let's save it real quick. Oh yeah, quick sketch day 222. Perfect. Okay. Well, we have no more time left. Perfect. So let's add the eyeballs, and then we can render. It, and then we can finish this piece. So her eyes. Actually, no, they're quite round, so we can probably use just a regular sphere. Smooth. There you go. Put it in there. Nice. Yeah, using stuff like displacements or modifiers can be quite fiddly, so I like to stay with very, very basic tools. This way, you know, no big problems can arise and we can just, you know, work. And it all just comes down to, I guess, how effective you can execute instead of trying to solve problems while also trying to think about how you really make it, or how you know, what you want to, or how you want to do it. Actually, no, there you go. Okay. Are they too big? They're a little bit too big. That's better. There you go. I think that's okay. Okay, perfect. So perfect. Let's render it. Let's parent everything together so that we can just scale everything together if we need to. There you go. We can now move it as one. We can make it bigger so it fits into the frame. Perfect. Okay. Yep, perfect. Okay. What is that? Why are you here? Wait, what is... Oh, why is the tip over here? Can we change the scale? No. Apparently that just doesn't work. Okay. Let's fix this thing real quick and then we can do the last few steps. There you go. Perfect. Okay. Rendered mode. And we also need the lighting scene. Oh, not link append. There you go. Okay. Today, as you can see in the title, we're gonna do personal feedback. Of course, if you want to get personal feedback yourself, you probably know what to do, but you know, if you don't, then join the Discord and you can post your own pieces to get feedback on. In my opinion, personal feedback on your own art pieces is the best way to learn, because it's not just some generic, you know, stuff about problems you might have and solutions that you might, you know, that you could maybe use or that might be useful. They're actually, I guess, tips tailored to you, so that you know, can, you know, that you know that it actually, you know, caters to you, and you know, I don't know how to describe it. It's just, I guess, the most direct and, in my opinion, best way to learn, because you know, your own problems are your problems are the opportunities to learn, and you know, the more you find, the faster you can learn or improve. Let's grab the good old material. Is it this one? Hopefully. Probably not, because I always grab the wrong one. Nope, it is. Perfect. Okay. So this one can maybe create some outlines, although only in very, very specific areas. Probably not on the right ones. Maybe a little bit. No, this looks weird. I don't even know if we need this light. I mean, this shader. Oh, okay. Well, wait. That's probably good enough. Let's make a new eye material. The good old eye material, roughness 0, full black. Same here. Perfect. Okay. Now let's give this flower maybe like a slight gray here, just to kind of set it apart from the background. There you go. And then this can probably stay the same. Okay. Let's see if we can place the light a little bit different. Maybe we can even change the size to make the shadows a little bit more diffuse, to make them spread out some more, so they're not as harsh. I like this pretty much. I like that a lot, because there's like, if the light is coming from the top, you have a nice shadow at the bottom, which kind of sort of separates each piece from another. You can see a clear line here underneath the flower, so you can see this is like the stem from the flower. There's a sort of shadow underneath the flower, which separates the flower from the petals, separates them from the hand, and then also from the body right there. And then there was, oh no, yeah, let me try something. So I usually like to, or yesterday we used the rim light to add a strong light to the side of the character, and then we basically painted that light pink. What if we do this in here? What if we go in here and just make this pink here? The problem is, because of the diffuse, or because of the reflection light, there will be more than just this side lit in a color. You can see the background is black. What if we remove the background and then make the background black? What does that look like? Hold on. World, there you go. Set it to black. Oh. That could actually work. We probably need to increase the strength though, What if we set it to 5,000? Okay, that's better. I kind of want to have like a transition from white to the color that we set here. So what if we set it to 10,000? That looks pretty good. Yeah, just like a small hint of color in this black and white image. I think that could look pretty cool. Not too far over here. Maybe the other side? No, I think I like this side more. What if we change the size as well? Make it sharper. That's pretty cool. I like this. Okay. Perfect. Of course, the flower has no color, but that's okay. Let's save it and render it. First in 50%, so we can do some post-production right here in the compositor. And then we can do we can create the final image. Oh, hold on. We need to hide. I mean, tick the not render box for the I guess background that we usually use. There it is. Perfect. Flawless. Okay. We add a glow and then we should be good. Oh, okay, maybe that's a little bit too much. What about 2? Because the light is so strong, there's a lot of glow on the side. Maybe we set it too high. That should be good. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. Okay. 100% resolution. 256 samples. We're ready to go. Render image. And while this is rendering, we have... How much time do we have? 10 seconds. Well, that's quite short. I'm gonna drink something. Oh, I have no water anymore. I need to grab some water. I'm gonna be back in 30 seconds. Hold on. Okay, I'll be back in 30 seconds and then we're gonna finish the image. Hold on, let me show you. There it is. Okay. Yep, I'll be back in 30 minutes. What? 30 minutes? 30 seconds. Da-da-da. I think we're ready, right? Hold on. Water? Is that supposed to mean vodka? There you go, perfect. Okay. Let's grab it and do some post-production with it. Well, there's not really that much to do, but maybe a little bit. Okay. Put that in here. Quick sketch day, what is it? 2, 2, 1. Yep. Okay. Put it into Photoshop so we can do the final touches. And there you go. Okay. So as per usual, first of all, contrast, increase the contrast. Make it a little bit clearer, the bright areas and the dark areas. Maybe we could even use the selective color correction just to kind of bring down the gray tones. Just a little bit, maybe like that. Give it some more depth because everything is quite bright right now. And I don't think we need to do more with the white spot because we can see there's already quite a bright spot up here. I don't think we can lighten it up too much here. Maybe I think +4 is the maximum. Perfect. So now we don't even have to add the light, you know, in post. For the character yesterday, we did it in post. For this one, you know, we can also use just the light in Blender. I think it has a different style, definitely. the light that we added yesterday looks a little bit, you know, different, just because we have to paint it in, you know, afterwards. But you know, I think as long as there's some color, I think it looks pretty cool. Okay, let's save the image and then we can post it. Oh, wrong folder. There you go. Okay. So as always, while I'm uploading the image, you're gonna see the good old compilation from month 1 and month 2 of the stream, I guess. Yeah. So when the compilation, aka 3 minutes, are over, we can start with the feedback session. We have 3 images as far as I know. You know, maybe somebody posted in the time that we worked on Kitty. Maybe not. But we at least have 3, and we're gonna go through them. And if we have maybe a little bit more time afterwards, depending on how much, you know, how deep we want to go with these 3, then we can maybe work on the character that we work on currently a little bit more. So yeah, we finished the first layer of armor. Now we get to the interesting stuff. We need to add the glaive or the scythe, as well as the the second layer of armor, like the cape, the head, the belts, multiple belts, of course. And you know, one isn't enough. We need at least 2. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do next. We're gonna go heavy into that next week. Maybe we have some time today to at least finish the pose. So everything's ready. I'm gonna upload the image. You're gonna see a 3-minute compilation, and then we're gonna go into the feedback session. So hope you enjoy the compilation. There you go. Okay, perfect. So we are ready to go into the feedback. Let me just quickly check if anybody, came late to the party. Doesn't seem like that's the case. Perfect. So we're going to look at 3 submissions today. Yeah. Hold on. We're gonna start in just a second. Okay. Perfect. Let's begin with the first one. So we're gonna go through this basically in the way that they have been submitted. So we're gonna go through, we're gonna start with Zach. And he worked on his likeness sculpt. He submitted a likeness sculpt before, and he basically, I guess fine-tuned it a little bit, or he created a new one. He went in again and created another likeness sculpt of the same actor. I forgot what the name is, what the actor's name is, but let's look at the images that he posted. There you go. So you can see who it is, probably. Good old James Bond back in the day. And yeah, so he did a likeness sculpt. Welcome back, Hustler. Hope you had a stress-free Thursday. Yeah, we're just starting with the feedback. So yeah, we're gonna start with Zach. He did a likeness sculpt of Mr. Actor. I can't remember his name, and he sent quite a lot of references, which is good. So we have a lot of images to look at, and he also provided us with some references, which is perfect. So we can immediately compare the two, his model with the original. And he also added this, which is also nice. I think we don't really need this necessarily. Of course, I think this would have been useful if we didn't have this. This would have been perfect. But because we have this is even better to look at, just because we can see all these different angles and we have reference for the different angles. So yeah, we're going to use those to look at, and then we can Pierce Brosnan, exactly. I don't know why I can't think of the name. Okay, so he did a likeness sculpt of Pierce Brosnan, and yeah, so first we're gonna look at overall the image, and then we can, I think, so with likeness sculpting, the most important part, of course, is to get the proportions of the character correct. Stuff like wrinkles, stuff like these lines here, for example, as long as they're not super big, those are more detailed that we don't really need to display a character. You might be shocked how little we actually need to add to a facial sculpt to make it look like somebody. You might have seen, for example, say somebody like your friend says, "Oh, this person looks like you," and then you say, "Oh, well, this person actually looks kind of like me," because they just have similar, proportions and facial features as you have. And so if you actually do likeness sculpting, you don't actually need to add too much to make it look like the character. Of course, if you want to really nail the likeness, you need to go into the full length of adding not only the big shapes, the big proportions, also stuff like the but also stuff like the wrinkles, or smaller stuff like the pores, for example. Pores don't really add too much to the likeness, but they make it look more realistic. So yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to look through these first, and then we will basically analyze and see what what you can do, what you can change to make it look more like the reference. So we have the sort of 3/4, maybe, I don't know what you want to say, like 3.5-quarter view right here of him. Yeah, so we will fully focus on the proportions for this one, because that's the main focus for these kinds of sculpts. You try to capture a likeness, and if how do you define the likeness? By the proportions in the character's face. So that's just makes the most sense to focus on. So we're probably going to use this image as the main reference. I've seen a few difficulties with this image when it comes to the comparison. It just sort of seems like in some areas that this nose, for example, looks longer than this one, just because of the perspective, I guess. Maybe the focal length, you know, the focal length might make his nose longer than in this image, for example. That could be the case. But I think we're going to use this reference image and we're going to transform it in Photoshop to make it look more like him, or to do some adjustments to at least, you know, try to make it look more like him. So that's the yeah, that's what we're going to do. So I mean, yeah, we can basically go into Photoshop right away. We could, you know, maybe go into Blender and kind of, yeah, let's go and highlight the different things that we want to change first, and then we go into Photoshop and do them. So let's import this image into Blender, and then we can begin. You know, you might ask, why import into Blender? Just because if we work too long with Photoshop, it seems to just crash for some reason. So I just use Blender to, you know, add these adjustments, or these nodes. Basically, I draw on the image in Blender. There you go. Okay. So let's begin with the proportional changes that I would make. Let's quickly make sure that we have the grease pencil right here. There you go. Perfect. Okay. So, of course, first of all, that was the same with the first sculpt that he made. When I looked at it, let's see if we can find the first one. Maybe we can even find it here in the, let's see. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. So he submitted, of course, as I said before, a likeness sculpt before, either previous version or an older version. He might have made a new one, and even there I was able to see which person he wanted to portray. There were just some small, you know, adjustments he could have done to get closer to the original, I guess, person, you could say. Here it is. Let me just open it up. There it is. There you go. You can see it right here. Yeah, you can see his likeness in this image already. There are some small, you know, there are some adjustments you can make to get it closer to him. But at least when I looked at it in this image here, was able to recognize which person it is. And I think that is the same here. I think the big difference between these two is, okay, so here's one thing that you need to basically keep in mind when it comes to likeness sculpting. Of course, the face is what makes a character, you know, unique. Mostly, there's one more, there's one more thing that you basically need to add to really recognize a character. I'm not saying that you cannot recognize, or that you need to add this thing to make the character recognizable, but it makes it easier to basically, yeah, to make the character unique, or to make your sculpt look more like the character. Like really good likeness sculpts I've seen, even without hair, basically capture the likeness of somebody and you can see that it's them. But it's definitely easier to make it look like a character, like a person, with the hair. So once we add the hair, it'll immediately, for example, usually if we look at a face, or usually if we look at anything, it is very easy for us to basically identify the silhouette of a character. You can see a clear silhouette here. Let's go to the image. A clear silhouette from here to here. That's sort of the shape of the nose. Then we have like the eyebrow shape that looks like this. Those are all kind of shapes and contours that we recognize very easily because they have these very sharp contrast. Same here for the outline. That basically define the shape of someone's face. You can, for example, in this image, not really see how the fat pad is sort of being placed on the cheek, for example. You cannot really see where the jaw muscle is. You can't really see it here. But what you can see is, for example, the hairline. You can see the eyebrow shape. You can see the eye shape. You know, if this corner is lower than the inner corner, if it's higher, if it's on the same height, you can see the lip shape. So there are some sharp features that you can identify in not only the front view but also the side view. Side view is very easy, or side view is very useful if you, for example, want to see whether or not your facial features, like your nose or your lips, are basically on in the right position, and also for the nose, for example, if it's too long, for example. Welcome back, Biwi. Hope you had a great Thursday. Welcome. Yeah. So one big part of a character's silhouette, of course, not only the hairline, but also the shape of the hair, you know? If somebody has an afro and you see a silhouette of somebody having like a huge ball on their head, you know, basically, you would probably recognize them as the person that you know has an afro. So you can see, of course, a clear difference here between this one and this one. It's just the overall, you know, head shape. Of course, hair isn't part of the head necessarily. It's, well, it's not skin, so, you know, that's what I mean with head. But it's still being, you still look at it as if, like as a part of the head. So even just adding maybe hair to this sculpt can help make this sculpt look more like him. You can, for example, see that in this one. You can see it here. He has hair, this one has hair, and I think that helps a lot in making this one look like Pierce Brosnan. I think that helps a lot, the hair. Although you can make some adjustments for the hair, even just having hair there and adding more volume to the head, shaping it more like the original, can help in capturing the likeness. But let's stick to the proportions. We could, you know, add the hair later to the character to just, maybe even the eyebrows as well, you know, to just, you know, bring it in and see if that helps. But let's look at the proportions first. I think what I want to do here is I want to look at two images. First of all, the front view, and then also the side view. I think the side view is very useful, as I said before, to identify the proportions. So so what I think with this image is actually not a perfect profile view. I think it is actually him looking sort of backwards. So if I would take my face, this would be the profile view, like this. But I think what he does is he's looking more in this direction, which means that his nose appears smaller and his lips also appear smaller. I think that is kind of the case here. It is still a good image when you want to look at the, for example, the nose length or the lip position, where they're positioned. For example, here's the end of the chin, here's the beginning of the nose. So where do we place the lips? Turns out they're actually up here somewhere. So there's more space underneath the lips than over the lips. Those are the things that you can, for example, see for the with the profile view. Looking at it here, that's the bottom, that's the bottom of the chin, that's the bottom of the nose. Placing the line, it's right there. I think the lips are in a good position. I think the shape might be a little bit different, and also the shape of the nose. I think, well, the lips might be proportionally in a good position, but I think what is different here is, first of all, the chin shape. I think the chin is a little bit less sharp. You can see this one has a clear curve going like this. I think this one, of course, the perspective might be a little bit distorted, or it might be, you know, might smooth some features. But I think the chin overall is a little bit less pointy, and then I think the space from here to the nose to the nose is a little bit longer. So I think we can make the nose a little bit shorter. Make the nose a little bit shorter so that we have some more space here between the bottom of the chin and the bottom of the nose, basically. I think that's one thing we can do. We can also see one more thing here from the side view. Looking at the eyebrows, you can see that they actually lift from here in the middle, go up, and then they go to the side. They look like this. That is generally the shape of the eyebrow if you look from the side, like this, you know, like, oh, it's actually like a pretty good curve, like a negative Nike curve. Like if you would mirror it to the upwards, that would be basically the eyebrow shape from the side, like this. And looking at it from here, you can see it is quite flat. You can see it starts right here, and then it goes straight down. I think one adjustment you could make here is just kind of increase, maybe pull the eyebrows a little bit higher. I think there can be a little more space underneath. You can also see there's a little bit more space. Here's the eyebrow, and here's sort of the skin that is hanging over the eyelid. I think the space from the eyebrow here to this sort of skin piece is a little bit smaller. So maybe just pulling up the eyebrow a little bit like this to create more like a curve like this can help in, yeah, if you change that, I think that'll look a little bit more like him. Next up, yeah, overall the nose I think is a little bit shorter. You can see the distance right here. Comparing that to this one, I think it's a little bit shorter so that there's more space here underneath. You can also see that the mouth, generally, if you look at a face, my face might, you know, faces always vary, but generally, if you look as in a profile view, the corner of the mouth generally ends when you go like on the, I guess, on this axis, like in this direction, it ends in line with the end of the nose. So where your nose ends right here is where the corner of your mouth is. It might be a little bit further back, it might be a little bit further forward. Generally, it's more back or further back than forwards, but you can see how small these lips are, or how short, like this, and then you can see how long they are for your sculpt. It might just be the, I think the perspective, looking at him from slightly further back than just profile view, could make the lips a little bit shorter than they actually are. But you know, you gave us this reference, so we're going to use it. Yeah. Oh, there's one thing that is pretty clear, which is the ear position. The ears, generally, you can see it right here, drawing lines going from the bottom of the nose horizontally back. You can see that's where the ear starts, and then going from roughly the eyelid right here horizontally back, that's where the ear ends. You can see that's where the ear connects to the face, basically here, but it might go a little bit over this line to finish this C shape, basically. There you go. So it ends, I mean, it begins down here at this line where the nose ends, or where the nose, like the bottom of the nose is, and then it goes up, all the way up, makes this C shape all around, and then it ends and connects to the head, where slightly above or between the eye and the eyebrow in this space. That's roughly where the eye position is. Comparing that to yours, going vertically, I mean horizontally, there you go. You can see it attaches a little bit too high, so we can probably pull this down a little bit, going to the bottom of the nose. You can see we can basically grab this ear and just pull it down a little bit to just, you know, kind of place the ear in a more natural position. Hold on, let me actually drink something. I think I refilled my bottle, but I didn't drink anything. Okay. So yeah, ear positioning. Eyebrows can be a little bit higher. I think the nose can be a little bit shorter. Well, maybe not the eyebrows need to be higher, but the eyebrows overall can be a little bit lifted up so that there's a little bit more space between the eyes and the eyebrow. You can see it's quite a sharp downfall to the eyes. Kind of a weird description, but that's how I'm gonna call it, a steep downfall. Usually for male characters especially, generally for female characters as well, not as prevalent though, is the chin shape. The chin shape generally is for male characters, and maybe not a 90-degree angle, but a very, very sharp angle like this. There you go. And for female characters, it can be a little bit more like this. He, as far as I can see, his chin or his jaw moves like this. Looking at yours, first of all, Okay, no, the curve, sometimes you have this curve, kind of downwards curve here, but it moves. And then it sort of transitions into the ear immediately. It kind of goes into the ear. Generally speaking, the ear is basically right behind the jaw. It doesn't go over the jaw, it's right behind it. So the jaw basically ends roughly in the middle of, or before the middle of the head. No, it's actually, well, if this is the middle of the head, the jaw would roughly end right here, like this. There you go. And then the ear would be right behind it. There's the small little hole. If you look at a skull, there's a small hole where the ear connects to and where, of course, the sounds go into. So, yeah, I think defining the jaw shape just a little bit more, maybe making it a little bit sharper, like up, like this can help as well. The hardest thing, I think, at least I have difficulties nailing that, is the forehead and basically everything that is right here. Best option, or the best case scenario would be, of course, to find a reference where the character, the person, is bald. Of course, that would be best case scenario, because then you can see what the head shape is, how long basically the forehead is. I think the forehead compared to this one is a little bit too long, at least here in the front. Sometimes for me, for example, as well, sometimes the forehead is quite short, but then the back of the head is quite high, so it has this sort of upwards movement like this. Sometimes it's more like, hold on, it's more like this. Very, 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 I guess, abstract. And then sometimes, I don't know if I've ever seen it like sloping down like this. I don't know if I've ever seen that, but I've definitely seen it going higher, or it's just staying like this. Oh, I've also seen it basically being sort of round. I've seen that more for female characters, that it's not really higher in the back, not really high in the front, but it's kind of high in the middle. I've seen that as well. I think the forehead is a little bit shorter, so we could maybe end it right here, and then we can go up like this. That could help as well with the overall head shape. There you go. Okay. A small thing that I notice is underneath the jaw right here in the front. It's rough. It's pretty like washed out. It's not that defined. You can see the jawline is quite, I guess, blurred. I think here in the front there could be a little bit more volume, just to kind of blur out the jawline here in the front. But those are just small details. Of course, you can add the inside of the ear as well. Thinking of the good old C shape here. Hold on. There you go. And then we have the inside like this. There you go. Good old ear shape right there. Yeah, but the side view is very good for the head shape, for the nose length, the nose shape as well, the eyebrow height, even just the protrusion forward from the eyebrows. Some eyebrows coming from the nose are more like this. Some eyebrows are more like this. And then, some are kind of actually sort of straight upwards. So, yeah, for him, it's, I think, like more like this, having like a forward protrusion slightly. But yeah, I think one more thing that I can see that is different between the two is two things. Let's talk about two things. The clear definition that you have here, that could just be the madcap. That could also be, just actually just be like the reference, but it's just the madcap that makes it look stronger than it actually is. But I think the line here from this fat pad up here, I think the line is a little bit too strong. I think you can wash it out a little bit more. It's not really that visible here. It could be generally because of subsurface scattering. You can see it for your own characters when you add a shader with subsurface scattering. Generally, subsurface scattering removes some detail, so sharp contours, sharp features like this could just kind of wash out that way. And of course, he has subsurface scattering in his skin, so that could be why it's not that sharp. But I think you can kind of smooth it up a little bit. And then one more thing would be the space or the bag underneath the eye right here. I think for yours it's a little bit longer. It's a little bit bigger than his. You can see here, this is the end of the eye, and then it kind of goes down and then goes up. It's a little bit smaller than this. You can see the difference. Da-da-da. So those are some changes that I would make. Yeah, generally just proportions, of course, because that's all that really matters for likeness sculpting. Yeah, we could say maybe the nose could be a little bit smaller when it comes to like the depth, but that could also just be the perspective, so I'm not really going to mention it necessarily. Let's go back to the front view, and then we can probably yeah, let's go to the front view and do some adjustments here, and then we can go into no, let's just go into Photoshop real quick, adjust these things, and then we can go back into Blender and do the front view, and then we've done the front view and side view. I think those are good good reference images, basically. Okay, so let's go. We're gonna begin with the side view, of course, because we've made some adjustments for the side view. So let's do that, and then let's go in here into the filter right there, liquify filter. Okay, so the adjustment that we said, first of all, the ear can be a little bit lower. It starts right here between the eye and the eyebrow. That's where it basically ends at the top, or connects to the face at the top, and then at the bottom of the nose is where it ends or connects to the face at the bottom. So let's just pull it down right here, down to roughly over here. That's pretty good. And then we pull it down like this. That's pretty good. Okay, there you go. Now the ear shape, the ears in a more fitting position. Let's go to the nose. I think we can make the nose a little bit longer. Shorter, not longer. So let's adjust the nose a little bit. We can maybe no, let's just pull it higher. Just slightly. We can probably also kind of make the tip a little bit rounder. There you go, just very slight change. Generally also, the nostril ends quite, well, the tip is actually quite long when it comes to where the nostril basically ends, where it curls in like where it ends, basically where the nose hole ends. It's actually quite far back. You can see the comparison here. The nose hole ends there, where my cursor is on the right. And then there's quite a lot of space to the tip of the nose. I think you can have some more space here for the end of the nose by just pulling it slightly further back like this. Of course, as you know, it's a hole, so it curls back into the back again. It doesn't really end just by facing forward like this. It actually curls, and you can see it from the side right here, for example. It's actually a sort of half, like an oval shape, not just like a curve that goes upwards. It's actually an oval shape that you can even see from the side view. There you go. Okay, maybe you can also adjust the sort of curve shape of the oval, the roundness. There you go. The nose, I think, looks better now. We have some more space up here. Let's pull this up a little bit more here. And then maybe we can pull the tip a little bit further in. Actually, no, let's keep it there. Okay. Now we can probably move the lips a little bit higher. We can maybe also move it a little bit further forward. There you go. And then we move it up. You can also see the top lip is smaller than the bottom lip. We're going to see that in the front view a little bit better. Generally, you can see that better in the front view. Nostril Yeah, the nostril. So one thing we can, oh yeah, let's go to something more significant, which is the, I guess, pointiness of the chin. I think it can be a little bit less pointy, so we can pull it further in like this, and then we can pull out the muscle underneath the bottom lip a little bit more like this. There you go. Okay, this looks good here. You can see it's kind of rounding off into the neck. Looks pretty good here. Maybe going down a little bit more, not too much. There you go. It's also, the distance is a little bit longer, so maybe we can pull the neck a little bit further back, just slightly. There you go. Okay. Okay. Let's go to the eyebrow. For the eyebrow, as we said, we can pull it a little bit higher so there's some more room between the eyebrow and the eye, basically. So we kind of have to be careful here so not to move the eye. Just a little bit higher. There you go. Of course, because we kind of pull the shadow up as well, it might look like there's not really that much more room now. But we'll try. We can also make the eye bag here underneath a little bit smaller. Open the eyes just a little bit more. There you go. Okay. Yeah. The head shape. Yeah, as we said, I think it actually rounds off right here and then goes back, which means the forehead is a little bit shorter than what you have currently. So let's kind of adjust it to the shape that I at least think that it has. Something a little bit shorter like this, and then going to the back. There you go. Okay, we get this nice little border here. Let's kind of adjust that so we don't have these weird lines there. There you go. Okay. Perfect. We could add the hair as well, just to kind of, add some more character into the sculpt. But I think it's not really necessarily. One thing we could adjust would be the neck. Generally, if we look at, for example, the écorché that I have here. Hold on, I can see my own camera. There you go. Generally, it goes straight down and then it goes slightly back. I think, looking at the reference here, it goes straighter down than what you currently have. It just, I'm not going to adjust it because then we just pull out the image and then we have this huge gap on the left side. So we're just going to leave it there. But that could be one thing you could adjust as well. If you're not super muscular, generally it goes quite straight down. There is some, it still goes wider in the back, but not that much. Okay. I see that you've added some hair here in the sculpt as well. Of course, it's not that visible, so we can't really, see it that well, but I see it. There you go. Open the eyes maybe a little bit more. There you go. It looks kind of angry. I think we can move this a little bit higher. Just a little bit. There you go. Looking at the before and after. There you go. See the nose, for example, the nose shape, make it more like an oval rather than a C shape or a curve shape. The lips are a little bit higher. They're a little bit shorter. The chin is not as pointy. We have some more like bottom lip muscle size right here. Hold on. Okay, let's go back here. We could maybe lighten this sort of contour here, just to kind of look at it. I think one difference here as well is the that he's slightly smiling. I think yours is sort of looking kind of angry. That's probably because the mouth corner is pointing downwards. You know, just by pulling it up just very, very slightly, you can see how much it just changes the expression. If I pull it down, looks angry. If I pull it up, he's smiling. There you go. Okay. Maybe we can kind of make this hump a little bit smaller here. Not too big. There you go. Okay. There you go. The lip shape might be further forward here at the bottom lip than the front, the top lip. You can see here it's slightly further forward, the bottom lip. So we can do that as well, just very slightly. There you go. You can see the difference. Pulling the nose a little bit higher, pulling the eyebrows a little bit higher as well. The nostril shape right there. The nose lower. The chin not as pointy. So we can, the chin not as pointy, and then the muscles underneath the lips a little bit bigger. Okay, and then the mouth corner a little bit higher. Okay, I think those are some adjustments that we can do here. We could maybe, let me add the hair to his character, I mean to the sculpt as well, real quick. Doesn't take long, just kind of remove it or copy it from here. There you go. Let's see if it kind of fits in here. Slightly here to the ear. The ear might be a little bit further back than it needs to, but actually no, I think it was in a good position. Fitting it onto the head. Okay. Looking at it from the back. So one thing that is that I see is, I think the nose here is just shorter than here. I think though that is because of the perspective. I think the nose is a little bit longer. It's just not that visible because he's looking away from the camera. So yeah, let's stick to these general, I guess, adjustments, like the nostril shape here, or the lips, and this line here, the ear shape. I mean the ear position. Let's go to the front view and do some adjustments there as well. Okay, let's remove all this, and then let's go to the front view. Okay, so first thing first, let's start with the nose. As we have said before, I think the shape is a little bit different. You can see here, it has sort of this shape. These two devil horns. And then this one looks more like this. It's a very, very slight change, but it is noticeable if you compare the two. This one has smaller, I guess you could say, like ending sort of curls. This one is a little bit wider. So changing the nostril shape can help there. One more thing that I see here is the width of the mouth. Looking at this, it's roughly this long. It might be hard to compare, but let's put them in here. This line is longer than this one, so the mouth, I think, can be a little bit slimmer, a little bit thinner. And then we might be able to compare it to the eyes. One more thing that we can see here is the tear duct sort of shape. I think it's a little bit smaller. Maybe not. Maybe it's just very, very slightly small. But those are small small adjustments that don't really do that much compared to the other adjustments. Let's stick to something bigger. Of course, the ear position can be a little bit lower. You can see here the nose is right there. It's slightly higher, maybe because the position of the camera might be above him. That means that the nose is lower than the ears generally. Okay. Yeah, I think if you... From the front view, I think the eyebrow position looks actually pretty good. I think if you add just a little bit more volume here for the eyebrows, that could help in making them more... yeah, they're quite significant in his face. I think adding them, make them more significant in the sculpt can help in, capturing his likeness a little bit better. Yeah. Maybe the tip of the nose is a little bit smaller, a little bit thinner than his. You can see the nostrils for him. Kind of, let's kind of draw the nose shape real quick. It's like this. There you go. That's his nose shape. Let's compare it to yours. Well, let me just remove these two lines. There you go. Comparing these two. We have this. There you go. Looking at the differences, it's, of course, there are very slight differences in a human's face, but I think they're still noticeable. You can see, for example, the nostrils kind of get quite smooth in the end. You can see here, this curve, basically this curve doesn't really exist for him. They just kind of transition into the bridge of the nose. I think the tip is slightly different, maybe because it's a little bit wider. And I think the shape is a little bit different, just very slightly, but it's might be hard to address here because it's not that visible. And then, of course, the nostril shape on the inside for the holes is a little bit wider. There you go. You can compare these two. Okay, so we have the ears, we have the lips, maybe even the lip shape. Maybe the bottom lip can be a little bit bigger, and then you can maybe you can smooth the lips on the side a little bit more. You can see they're very defined here, but then they transition into the rest of the skin. The difference between the lips and the skin right here isn't really that noticeable, so it gets very, very smooth here. I think for yours you can still see a very clear contour here. I think if you smooth this part a little bit, that can help. As we said before, you can see a very clear sort of muscle right here for the lips, like this. I think highlighting that muscle a little bit more for your sculpt can help as well. Just kind of giving it more volume will first of all smooth out the lips a little bit more, and it also will change the shape of the lip a little bit more. I think which can help in making it look more like him. There you go. Okay. I'm looking at the eye shape. I think the eyes are a little bit wider than his. So what I'm looking at is basically going from the corner of the eye, inner corner, to the outer corner roughly. And then I look at his corner of the eye in here to the end, which is roughly here. One big problem with eyes is that the eyelids make it seem like the eyes are actually wider than they are. That's why, for example, women put makeup on their eyelids so that they extend the size of their eyes. You can see here, the bottom skin is quite indicative to where the eye corner actually is. You might think it might be somewhere over here because, you can still see the contour here kind of ends over here. But if you follow this sort of line here, the bottom eyelid, it goes here and then ends somewhere over here. So the eye is actually just it's ending right there. So this is the distance here, and the distance here is right there. Looking at the two, I think this one is a little bit shorter. So you can probably, if I see that correctly, comparing these two faces, I think you can first of all maybe push the outer corner slightly more inwards, and then you can also make the head shape overall a little bit more like a block shape. Basically pushing from those two sides just inwards to make the head shape less like this and more like this. Oh, more like this. You can see the difference. It's just very small, but I think it can make a big difference. You can see how the jaw basically here rotates upwards and then just goes straight upwards. For yours, it's something more like it goes and rotates in, and then it still has a diagonal sort of line going outwards. You can see here it's diagonal, here it's pretty much straight. That could be, of course, because of the hair, but generally speaking, the jaw sort of separates the front part of the head from the back part. So what would probably happen is that the jaw goes straight up and then ends right here. You can maybe push the cheekbones a little bit further into the middle, which will help in making the eye width a little bit shorter or a little bit smaller, and overall changing the head shape a little bit to make it more, adjust it more that it looks more like him. Yeah. One thing that I found pretty, or that I saw was this shape here. This is a very clear, defined shape right here. You can see the eyebrow kind of goes then over here and creates this sort of, I don't know, bump. For him, it's more like this. It just kind of transitions over to the side of the head. I think what you can do here is you can see this. You have this clear line here. I think what you can do is you can smooth this part here out a little bit more so that the clear transition is a little bit better. It's hard to explain, but yeah, basically smoothing this part out a little bit, this part, so that the transition from here to here is clearer, can probably help as well. You can see we basically have a shape that looks like this for his face. For yours, it's a little bit harder. It's more like this. And then we have this. So we basically have the shape already here for this side of the face. But then you have this sort of bump here in the front, right here, that you can see with this clear outline there. I think if you smooth this out a little bit, flatten it a little bit, I think it'll help with the overall head shape. Okay. Yeah. Maybe here this can be a little bit smoother. You can see it makes him look a little bit angry, as if he would, frown. For him, I think it's quite smooth here. There's not really like a big shadow down there. So I think, yeah, just smoothing this a little bit can help. Of course, maybe you have some more references that actually have him have the sort of frowning face, but I think that can help in making his expression less aggressive, let's say. Okay, I think those are quite a few adjustments. Let's put them into let's actually do them in Photoshop. So we're gonna grab the good old front view and we're gonna adjust the face. Okay. There you go. So, first of all, what we said was, I think one thing we can basically take over from the previous, no, let's begin with the broad changes. the biggest change, I think, is the head shape. Basically pushing the cheekbones slightly further into the middle can help in making, first of all, the jaw basically end in a straight line upwards, like this. There you go. Do the same on this side. This will also bring the eyes closer together. It will make the width of the eyes a little bit smaller. It will also make the eyebrows slightly shorter or less wide, I guess. There you go. See the difference? Very, very slight change. But it actually has quite an impact on how the jaw is shaped. This one is more like a heart shape. This one is more like a block shape, I guess. Then the eye overall is a little bit less wide. So let's adjust the width of the eye, not on the inside, but on the outside. Pushing it slightly further in. There you go. It's really hard to see the eye shape most of the time, especially when the character or the person that you want to create or that you want to sculpt has long eyelashes. Okay. Trying to keep the iris in the middle of the eye right here. Like this, perfect. We can blur this part later, the middle part here. We can change the nostril shape. Let's do that real quick. Making the curve right here a little bit smaller. There you go. We also need to make sure that it sort of, you can see the line right here for the nostril. It goes up, straight up, like diagonally up, like this. And then at the bottom, it also goes diagonally down. It doesn't go necessarily into the middle of the nose. It just goes kind of diagonally down. For yours, it's kind of going into the middle of the nose. So maybe pulling it to the side a little bit can help here. Doing it like this. So you see how I could change the line here. The line went into the middle before. Now I just pull it outwards a little bit and it changes the nose shape slightly. There you go. Before and after. There you go. Maybe we can bring the nostrils closer to the tip of the nose as well. Let's do that, or the middle of the nose. There you go. Okay, then maybe the tip can be a little bit, just a little bit wider. Just a little bit. There you go. Okay. Then we talked about the lips. The lips are thinner. Not thinner, but they're slimmer. The width is smaller, so we can bring them closer together right here. There you go. You also see a sort of upwards line right here for the lips. It kind of makes this, I don't know, I can't do it. He makes sort of like this sort of lip shape, because this line sort of goes upwards. You can see it right here. I think if you maybe add, either smooth it or accentuate the fat pad above the lips, the lip corner a little bit more, you can bring it, either make it sort of horizontal or bring it down. Sometimes it actually moves down, sometimes it just stays horizontal. If it moves upwards, then it looks like this. But for him, it's more horizontal. Lip shape in general, the bottom lip is bigger than the top lip. Looking at it, we can also see the middle part of the top lip is pretty close to the middle of the mouth, right here. I think there's a little bit more space between the two. So we can probably first of all move the top lip closer to the middle of the mouth, like this. And then we can probably also make the bottom of the lips, the bottom lip, a little bit bigger. Just slightly, not too much. Okay. There you go. His lips are also very, very smooth. There are no sharp contours on his lips. It might seem that way, but that's just because of how the lips are basically shaped. If this would be the nose, basically, you know, this is the nose like this, and then here comes the lips. His lips are basically shaped like this. That's where the sort of edge or the contour comes from. But the sort of transition from the lips to the skin up here is quite smooth. So you can still see like a shadow for the top lip because they're sort of shaped like this, because the light can't really hit down here. It just hits up here. So this part here is brighter than down here, which kind of creates this contour. But the actual lip border here is quite smooth. So we can maybe smooth the contour here a little bit as well. Okay. Maybe we can actually we can bring the head shape, we can bring the head overall a little bit closer together. Let me just do that real quick. I want to see what that looks like. I think overall the head shape was a little bit too wide. There you go. If you bring everything a little bit closer, I think that helps as well. There you go. We can also see, well, hold on. That's hard to change. Yeah, we're gonna just leave it there. Okay. Maybe we can bring the head up here a little bit lower as well. Over here. There you go. That should help as well. Okay, and then the ears. Let's change the ears, and then that should be all that we need to change. So that's the bottom of the lip, roughly over here. There you go. Okay. We can maybe, let's do one more adjustment. I want to pull the eyebrow over here a little bit higher. Just a little bit. There you go. And then I wanted to do some what is it called? Some smoothing. Let's do it real quick. So what I want to do here basically is just I want to go in here. I could probably just go in here, do this, and then opacity to 30%. Just draw over here to alleviate the sort of strength that it has currently. There you go. See how it changes his expression? Very, it's just a very slight change, but it can change his expression a lot. Just doing this small adjustment. There you go. You can also see how dark it is underneath his eyebrows here. For him, it's actually quite bright. I think overall, there's a little bit more space here, or you can maybe add a little bit more volume here over the eyes. Okay. Maybe the eyes overall are a little bit too high. Maybe not. We'll see. I think, no, I think that's okay. They might be a little bit too high. Let's actually see. So we can use a good old technique that I like to use, where we basically make a drastic change and then revert it back, But because we make the drastic change, usually we can see if we're on the right track with that change. We just need to make a smaller change than what we've done before. So we can basically now, what we can do is we can make a huge change. We can move these eyes way lower, see if it looks more like him. If it doesn't, then I think we can pull them very slightly lower, like over here. I think that can help as well. There you go. Slight change, but let's look at before and after. There you go. So I think the biggest change, the thing that'll help the most with the sculpt is, oh, there's one more thing that I wanted to do. Hold on. Right here. Okay. There you go. Just kind of smoothing this out a little bit can probably help as well. Okay. Let's add the hair in there as well. Hold on. Let's copy the hair. There you go. Copy and put it on there. Roughly. There you go. Maybe if we make it black and white, that should probably fit better. We can also smooth it a little bit. Oh. Okay. We need to put them a little bit higher, somewhere over here. Okay, there you go. I think that brings it closer to the original. Oh, we could do one more thing. Hold on. Right here for the lips. Doing that could help as well. There you go. Before and after. Okay. Okay, so let's put that all in one folder. There you go. So we can see so let's kind of sort of talk about what we've changed. We've changed the eye position. We put them lower. We also changed the eye width, basically by squishing the head shape overall, making it a little bit thinner. We pushed the cheekbones basically closer together, which basically not only made the eyes small, or which lowered the eye width. It also changed the eyebrow width, which helped. We also changed the lip width. I think the lips were a little bit too wide. We moved them closer together. Moving the cheekbones closer, bringing them closer together, also helped with the jaw shape. The jaw, as you can see here, it goes from this diagonal line upwards and then basically straight upwards. We did that here as well. Now it goes straight upwards. And then we also alleviated some expressions here. This expression is not as strong anymore. Right here. Same for the side here. We kind of smoothed it up, made it smoother. And then we moved the eyebrows just a little bit higher. We changed the nostril shape slightly so that it looks more like this one. And then the lip shape, the bottom lip we made a little bit bigger, the top lip we made a little bit smaller. And then we can compare the two, before and after. You can see the changes. Eyes, right there. The mouth, you can see how the expression changes just because we smoothed the corner of the mouth. We can see these clear lines there. They're gone now because we've just smoothed it a little bit. We made the head shape smaller. We brought the ears lower. And that is the before and after. Yeah. Looking at this one was a little bit harder because I didn't trust this image. I think this image is being shot from the back slightly. But we were still able to do some changes here, like the nose, the nostril shape, making it more like an oval rather than like a curve or a bridge, I guess. Then we brought the ears down, the jaw. Oh, we actually didn't change the jaw. Let me see if that actually changes much. Hold on. Why are there two? What's the difference? Okay. Oh, I know why. We can probably bring the jaw a little bit lower as well. Just slightly. There you go. Okay. So that's the before. No, that's after. Oh, hold on. Yeah, that's after. That's before. Generally moving the lips a little bit higher. The nose length, make it a little bit shorter, just slightly. We move the eyebrows higher. You can see here, big change right there. We move the ears lower and we change the jaw shape. So combining all this, so these changes here with these changes can probably bring you closer to the original. Let's compare this one again. There you go. Yeah, hope these changes can help. And yeah, I hope these changes were helpful. Of course, if you ever have any questions, you can always post them live or in the comments, or you can ask them in the Discord. Okay, first submission is done. Yeah, we're only going to focus on proportions for this one, just because, that's really, what is most important for likeness sculpts. Okay, I'm actually going to save these just so, I have them. There you go. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Oh. We don't need this right now. The next one is from... Hold on. Need to scroll down. Oh, even more. The next one is from Passion, or P45510N. I'm guessing that would be pronounced Passion. And he or she, they submitted a character as well. His character, their character, is a female character, and we have multiple shots, which is perfect. So we have a side view, we have a rendered view, we have a front view, we have a 3/4 view, we have a side view, and then a few more from the back. The most important ones here would be the side view and then the front view. We could look at the rendered view as well. But I think the biggest changes that you can make are for proportions. We could talk about the skin shader. I think there are some things that you can probably change there as well. But I think I want to focus more on the proportions for this, I guess. Yeah, for today. Okay, so we have the side view, and then we also have the front view. Let's look at these two. The 3/4 view can also be important, but generally the 3/4 view basically only shows you sort of the space here. You can see some defined, you can see definition here on the side for the front view, also definition on the side of the nose and the eyebrows maybe, as well as the size of the eyes. From the side view, you can see stuff like the length of lips, the nose tip length, I guess, the mouth position, and a few more things. From the 3/4 view, all you can really see that you cannot see from the side and front view is stuff like the cheekbone, how far it kind of protrudes, and maybe a little bit the nose shape and the lip shape, but the front and side view are definitely the two most important, views. So let's put in both right here, and then let's look at them. Let's go to the front view first. Okay. Okay. Of course, one is with hair, one is without, but that's okay. I think we don't really need to. I think we can kind of imagine what it's, what it would look like without. Okay, so let's talk about the changes you can make. Generally, I think we talked about it before, but I think there's an image that can basically describe what you can focus on to drastically improve your character sculpts. Let me quickly pull up the image that I mean. It's right here in head. Nope, it's not in head, it's in face. There it is, this one. We talked about that a lot. Hustler knows this one in and out. He's looked at it probably more than, I don't know, his mom at this point. Yeah, this image displays the planes of the head. You can see this face is very defined, but it still looks like a female face. So why is that? It is basically because the planes of the face are, generally speaking, always the same. The face has a certain definition, which only really changes, or which only really gets smoother because of fat pads that lie on top of everything else. So if we compare this one, this view, or this face to yours, you can, for example, see how for the nostril, you can see it very defined. You can see it starts right here, and then it goes all the way around, connects to the rest of the face right here, and then goes into the middle, and then to the tip of the nose. For yours, it's a little bit more smooth. Everything is a little bit smoother. You can see here, for example, the nostril sort of is very, very smooth. There's not really the nostrils aren't really defined. Generally speaking, the nostrils are defined here, not necessarily down here. Sometimes there are, sometimes there aren't. And then here, this part, sometimes it is, sometimes it is not defined. But generally speaking, there's a very clear line here. For yours, it's quite smooth. So I think the biggest tip that I can give you to drastically increase or improve the sculpts, your character sculpts, is study the planes of the head and try to recreate this head so that you kind of learn how every shape kind of works together and how these different shapes form the head. Going into some more detail, maybe we can go into the lips a little bit more. Generally speaking, the lips have a pretty simple shape. It is like, this is the middle, sometimes it's more like this, sometimes it's more like this. We're gonna make it line, and then we have the top lip, and then we have the bottom lip, like this. Sometimes you have it that the bottom lip is more like this. Sometimes you have the top lip is sometimes more like this. Sometimes it's more like this. But the lips always come back into the corner of the mouth. The lips are basically the skin that you have on the inside of your mouth. They just basically get turned inside out so that you can see it on the outside. That's why they're so reddish. Yeah, there you go. Your lip shape is a little bit different. It's sort of, well, it sort of looks like a duck face, because the lip shape is kind of like this. I think the top lip comes into the middle of the, the top lip comes back to the corner of the mouth. The bottom lip kind of just ends right here. I think what is sort of missing is what you can do is you can sharpen the distinction between the top lip and bottom lip. Right now there's sort of a clear transition between the two. You can still see a shadow right here, but I think you can make the shadow sharper. Looking at it in the side view, what you can probably do is let's look at a side view face right here. Let's look at this. I think this one's the best example here. There you go. You can see how it transitions, makes a sharp turn inwards, goes straight inwards in a straight line, and then it goes outwards again in a round shape, and then it ends like there. If we would to draw the side profile of the lips, it would be coming from the nose right here, going down, then doing sort of this shape, maybe even straight, like this. Then we have the lip that goes like this. This is the top lip. And then we have the bottom lip that looks like this, and then it ends like this. There you go. There you go. Yeah. So comparing that to your side lip, we're coming from the. Hold on, let me remove this one. We don't need you. There you go. Coming from the lip, looks like this. I mean, from the nose. Then it does this shape. I think the shape is a little bit too steep. I think it goes too far down. It doesn't need to go that far down. And then the lip shape is something more like this. You can see the difference here. This one has a clear curve upwards, like this. And yours has just it just goes down basically. Looking at the bottom lip, I think the curve looks good, but I think the lip, it goes too far downwards. I think you can move this here a little bit further forward. We're going to adjust these things in Photoshop later so you can have a clearer, I guess, view of what I mean. But that's one thing. One thing that also, apparently that's something that is quite common for all the submissions that we had so far, is the nostril shape, or yeah, the nostril shape, basically the nose hole shape. You can see what I like is that it goes back. It's almost an oval. The nostril just ends right here. I think you can bring the nostril a little bit closer over here so that it actually creates this oval shape. And then I think what you can also do is you can end the nostril a little bit further forward. I mean, a little bit more over here. What I often see is that the distance where the nostril ends, or where the nose hole ends, is very, very close to the end of the nose. Generally speaking, if we look at this here, for example, there you go. It's a little bit low resolution, but you can see it. This one for this nose, for example. Oh, you can see it ends right here, and there's quite a lot of space here still until you reach the end of the nose. Some, of course, are more turned up, so you kind of have to sort of do a diagonal line rather than just going forward. This here, there's just a little bit more space from the nose hole to the tip of the nose. So what you can do probably is you can just kind of extend this a little bit more and give this a more natural shape, basically. We can maybe, yeah, bring this nose hole a little bit further back, and then we can also end it more like this. Okay. Looking at the profile references again, we can look at the nose bridge. Generally speaking, the nose bridge you can see ends before the eyes. You can see it right here. Right here. They all basically end before the eyes. The eyes are basically behind it. And that's the same for yours. That's good. One thing that is different though is the position of the transition, or the end of the nose bridge. Basically, we're going to look at the front view. Basically this part here, where the nose goes from being a nose, or where the nose transitions to the eyebrows right here. There you go, the eyebrows. The position, as far as I can see, is a little bit different. Or at least, no, the forehead, the eyebrows, they're very, very smooth right here. I think what you can do, what you can also see here, is you can make the space here for the eyebrows quite thick. You can see it in the side view as well. You can see the profile here. You can see a very, very clear, not 90-degree angle, but it at least creates a small bump forward. It not necessarily needs to be a bump forward. Looking at the profile view here, sometimes it goes straight up. Sometimes it has a bigger curve here. But generally speaking, there's at least a slight curve. For yours, I think what you can do, there's a slight curve, but what you can do is you can bring it a little bit lower. I think that can help in making the silhouette or the nose and letting the nose end a little bit earlier can probably help with the face shape. Thank you for subscribing. Hold on. There you go. I need to pull up Streamlabs real quick. Thank you for wait. Oh no, it's still. Why is it not like real time anymore? Apparently that just stopped. Okay, I guess I can't see who it was, unfortunately. Okay, but thank you for the subscription. Hope you enjoy the content, and yeah, hope you have a great day. And if you're here, hope you enjoy the stream. Yeah, so you can probably bring the bridge of the eyebrows a little bit, or not, yeah, you can bring the eyebrow a little bit lower. That can probably help. Maybe give it some more volume here as well. That can probably also help. Okay, next up, let's look at the head shape, or not the head shape, but more the position of the ear. Generally speaking, the ear looks, height-wise, looks to be in a good spot. That's the bottom of the nose. Looks pretty good. Eyelid and eyebrow right in between. That's where the ear is placed. Perfect. Okay. One thing that you can probably adjust that we had before is the head height, basically. I think you can bring all this a little bit lower. If we would basically draw the skull, it would go somewhat like this, and then it ends roughly over here, in between the bottom of the nose and the top of the lip. Somewhere in the space is where the skull ends. This sort of curve that goes inwards, like this, where the spine connects right here. That's where it ends. So you can kind of keep that in mind when you create sort of this shape here, for example, that it has to end somewhere over here. And then this shape can probably be a little bit lower. Just kind of moving all this a little bit lower can probably make the head a little bit more sound when it comes to the proportions. Okay, now we draw on both perspectives, which will be a little bit interesting, but we'll take it. Oh, this actually works quite well. Okay. Next up, there's one thing that is very easy to, or there's a simple rule to place the eyes. Where the inner corner begins, where the outer corner begins, there's a pretty simple rule for it. Looking at it right here, you can see generally the rule is for the inner corner of the eye, where the nostrils end width-wise, right here, going straight upwards is where the inner corner of the eye is. That is in a pretty good spot. Maybe you can bring it a little bit closer over here, a little bit closer into the middle. Same here. There you go. This one's placed pretty good. And then you go from the lip right here, from where the both lips basically meet. You go upwards to here, to the outer edge of the nostril, and then you continue this line upwards to place not only the eye, but also the eyebrow. The eyebrow ends roughly here on this line as well, like this. Okay, it seems like the eye width looks pretty good. one thing you can do is look at the eye shape. Generally speaking, the eye shape is, you can describe it pretty easily. It's an oval that looks like this. Hold on. Looks like this. And then it has this small attachment right here in the front, like this. That's the eye shape basically. And then looking at the iris is covered mostly by the, or well, it begins, it touches, it touches the bottom of the eyelid, the lower eyelid, it touches it basically, the iris. And then it goes and gets covered by the upper eyelid. For some people it gets covered more, for some people it gets covered less. And then one more rule is the iris is placed in the middle of the eye. There you go. Trying my hardest here to draw an eye. There you go. Looking at your shape. Generally speaking, why is the eye the most open where the iris is? Basically because looking at the eye shape, it's not just like a round circle. It actually has some like a protrusion here in the front, which means that the protrusion pushes the eyelids a little bit further apart. And because only the protrusion is only in the middle of the eye, that is where the widest part of the eyelid opening is. So keep that in mind. For example, for facial expressions, looking at my eyes, I don't know if you can see it. If I look to the right, the widest, the most open part of my eye is on the right side. Looking to the left, the widest, hold on. There you go. If I look in this direction, here on the right is where it's most open. Looking to the left, that's where it's most open. If I look straight, so it's in the middle. In the middle, it's the most open part of the eye. If I look up, I push basically the eyelid even higher, the upper eyelid. Okay. I think one thing that can help is to look. Oh, there's one more thing that I want to mention. Okay. So the first thing, the biggest takeaway, I guess, that I want to give you is looking at the proportions. I mean the planes of the face. Right here, the planes of the face. Study those, and this will help you create more depth in your character's face. You will also understand why the lips are shaped like this. You can see that they're kind of turned inside out. This sort of edge right here then goes into the corner of the mouth and then kind of wraps into the inner wall of the mouth. Same with this edge right here. The nostrils are quite defined. You can see a very clear line here. We can probably also see that in the profile examples. You can see all these people have a very, very clear outline right here. See this C shape? C shape. This one doesn't go all the way around, it just goes upwards. But you can see, at least down here, you have a very clearly defined shape for the nostril. Same here, basically for all of them. So there are some defined features in a face, and studying the planes of the face can help or can help you identify where they are and how to place them so that, for example, a female character still looks female. For example, if you want to make this look more female, I guess, you can smooth this part here, the transition from the nose bridge to the fat pad right here. There are some things you want to keep sharp because they sort of define the face shape. But yeah, I think the next best step for you to improve your facial sculpt would be to study this. It should be posted in Discord already. I think in the, what is it called? Tutorials channel. There it is. Both the 3/4 view and the side view. Unfortunately, I didn't have a front view. I think there is a front view, but I just don't have it on my PC. But yeah, that would probably be the best tip I can give you. Study these two, maybe even this one, just to understand how the muscles underneath the skin look like. And then We have some smaller adjustments like proportions, where the lips go into the corner of the mouth. Generally making some, just kind of making some things more defined, like the corner of the nose here. I mean, the corner of the nose, the nostrils right there. Looking at the side view, comparing that to the photos that we've seen, you can see this is super, super smooth right here. I think making a clear crease right here can help a lot in making the nose more defined and, you know, clearer. Clearer basically. Then some smaller details like the shape of the nostril, or the nose hole rather, like this oval shape, and the shape of the lips being more. I think there needs to be, looking at the profile view, it needs to be a what is it called? A distribution which has more bottom lip here. It's hard to explain. We're gonna go to Photoshop, and then we're gonna do some of these changes. Okay, we don't need these. Let's go and open yours. I'm probably rambling halfway through, but you know, just saying some different you know, so different pieces of advice. But if you only take one thing away from this, then that should be look at these images and try to study them. Okay, so let's do some adjustments here just to kind of make this face a little bit more defined. We can first of all duplicate it, and then what I want to do is I want to first of all change the. I immediately forgot what the name is or the word. The distribution? No. The lip shape. Let's change the lip shape a little bit. So one thing we can do is we can give the bottom lip a little bit more room. We can move this part here a little bit higher, like this. Then we can bring the bottom lip a little bit further forward, and then we can also move the top lip a little bit further in and down, like this. And then we can also give it more of this lip shape that goes outwards and then inwards again. There you go. Same here, but we can't really see a shadow here, so we can't really sculpt it. Before and after. Before and after. There you go. For the nostril, as we said before, the nose hole, ending it a little bit earlier, and then making a nice circle going into the middle, like this. We can maybe extend the tip a little bit as well. There you go. Okay. One more thing that we mentioned is the sort of forehead or eyebrow height. We can probably lower that a little bit. That'll probably move the eyelashes as well, but that's okay. There you go. Looking at the references that we had here. Oh, that's not the reference. Oh, Jose Roberto Ramirez. Thank you for subscribing. Okay, let's look at the references that we had here. Where are my references? I need them. Oh no, I went too far back. There it is. You can see the transition from nose bridge to eyebrow is roughly either on the height of the eye, maybe a little bit higher. For her, for example, you can see it's roughly where the eyelid is. For her, it's roughly in the same spot. For her, it's actually roughly where the eye is. You can see it's a little bit lower for her. For her, it's also roughly where the eyelid is. Generally, you can see it's roughly where the eyelid is. So if you were to do that here as well, that's the eyelid, and that's, I think, in a pretty good spot right here. Okay, we can maybe also change the eye shape a little bit. If we look at the eye shape from the side view, it's more like this. Hold on. It's more like this. A sort of what is it, a smaller than sign. I'm going to show you how that will look in the sculpt. It'll look something like this. Removing the roundness, looking from the side view, and giving it more of this shape, this shape, very, very sharp, basically. Looking at some references here to show it to you what I mean. You can see how all of them aren't really round looking at it from the side. It's more of a, smaller than shape. There you go. Yeah. We also talked about the head shape. We can probably lower it a little bit, make the forehead a little bit shorter. That can probably also help. So let's bring the forehead a little bit down, right here, especially in the back. Generally, for female characters, what I've at least seen so far is that the middle of the head is generally the highest point. So something like this. That's not always the case, of course. There are always some variations in, heads. But there you go. You can see the changes. You can see how we just removed the back of the head basically a little bit, brought it lower. There you go. Okay. Also, there's probably one thing that we can do to drastically change the head, the face basically. And that is, generally speaking, the eye height, where the eyes are located on the face, is generally in the middle of the face. Looking at the references that we have here, you can see the top is right here. Can we actually draw here? There it is. Oh, okay. So this is the top, that's the bottom, and then roughly in the middle of that are the eyes. Top, bottom, middle, eyes. We could maybe extend this line a little bit because roughly the top is somewhere over here. But putting the eyes in the middle of the head is generally a good point to start placing the eyes basically. Sometimes for male characters they could be higher, for female characters they could be lower, but generally speaking they are in the middle of the head. Looking at this, it's kind of hard to estimate now, but we can do the same try that we've done, or we can do the same experiment that we've done for the previous piece. It's just lowering them a lot and then seeing if that improves the overall look. So we're just going to grab this and we're going to bring it lower. There you go. Before and after. I think they can help. I think lowering the eyes a little bit can help. Yeah, I think they can help. There you go. With the overall proportions. Before and after. Yeah, I think they can help a lot. Yeah, just lowering the eyes a little bit, bringing them in the middle of the head can help as well. Okay. Yeah, so to recap, generally, maybe defining some shapes a little bit more, like for example, the lip, what is it called? Like the distinction between the top lip and the bottom lip, the crease in between the two, as well as the nostril shape right here. Looking at from the profile view, you can see a clear crease right here. For yours, it's quite sharp. I mean, quite smooth, not sharp. Maybe bringing the eyebrows a little bit lower, as well as the entire eye, bringing that a little bit lower as well. The head shape, just lowering a little bit, especially in the back. I think a good rule for female characters, let me see if we can see that here as well, is to have the middle of the head be the highest point. You can see here is where the forehead ends, it goes higher and then it goes down again. Here that's where the forehead ends, it goes higher and then goes down again. Looking at this one here, you can see it goes up. This is where the forehead ends, it goes up and then it goes down again. Looking at this one, you can see it's a little bit higher here, but it's still the highest in the middle of the head. For the male character, it sometimes is a little bit different. Some people have a flatter head, Some people have some more, I guess, you know, height in the back. But generally speaking, I think for female characters, especially, making a round head at the top is a good start. Okay, and then the lip shape, you can see here, leaving some more room for the bottom lip and making the lip shape of the top lip from the profile view look something more like this, where you can see more of the red part of the lips, basically, the lips itself. There you go, themselves. Like this heart shape, this opened heart. And then maybe one more thing. The eye shape from the profile view is more like this rather than like this. It's quite sharp like this. Okay. Yeah, I think those are the things that'll help you the most. What is actually this? I have looked at this for a while. Oh yeah, that's, I guess, a tutorial for drawing faces. It talks about expressions, talks about different shapes for the head, planes of the head. A lot of text. I mean, it could be helpful, maybe. I can maybe post it in the Discord. Yeah, you can see different shapes here. You can see very blocky. You can see very drawn out at the bottom. The jaw isn't as wide. See here, round, square, wide, long. From different angles as well. It's more about drawing, but I think that can also help with sculpting. You can see some anatomy here. See this sort of muscle right there. Yeah, okay. I'm probably gonna post that in the Discord as well, if I think about it. I mean, yeah, if I remember it. Okay. Yeah, but generally, this is probably the image that'll help you the most. Looking at how defined some areas are, and yeah, how that helps in defining the character's face shape, basically. Okay, let's go to the next one. Hold on, let me go back. There you go. Where am I? Let's go to number 3, which is Zara. He posted, I mean, he posted another character. I think it's a continuation of his previous sculpt that he posted or that he submitted before. Let me save this as well. There you go. Okay. Go make you remember. Okay. Now it's your duty. Now it's your what is it? Your job. Okay. So he posted his character first without clothing, well, without anything on, basically, just a bust. And then he also posted a little bit later the character with just a little bit of clothing on. I think the clothing isn't really the, I guess, main aspect of this head. I think we can focus more on the overall, the face, basically. I think that would be more beneficial. By the way, did you change your color scheme? It looks like you've changed your pivot point to blue. There's always this blue dot in every image, right there. I wonder if that's the pivot point. Oh, but you deactivated everything, so probably not. I don't know what that is, but it's always in your screenshots. Okay. Yeah, I think the best ones to look at would be this one and the profile view. Who would have guessed? Yeah. I think generally, maybe you can for the next submission, maybe you can, I guess, just zoom in a little bit more. I think sometimes it's kind of hard to see the smaller details, like for example the nostril. It's kind of hard to see now, the nostril shape, because it's a little bit further away. You know, if you zoom in a little bit more, we can look a little bit more at the smaller details, like for example the nostrils. But we could still look at the face, and yeah, give some feedback. Let me just clear this up real quick. Wipe off all the old chalk from the board. There you go. Get off. Okay. Now my hands are all chalky. There you go. Okay. Oh, hello. Okay. So this is number 1, and the other one is... oh. Right there. Okay. Let's go to the front view. Okay. Let me sit down real quick and then we can begin. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, perfect. So, let's look at this face. Okay, so the first thing that sort of jumps out to me is the eyes. I think the eye shape is what I'm looking at right now. I think they're a little bit too round. So I'm looking at this with the idea that this is... I'm looking at this like you want to create a realistic character. I'm not looking at this like you want to create a stylized character. You know, for the future, if you know somebody wants to submit a stylized character, it's probably, you know, better to say that, because otherwise I'm just gonna, you know, expect, or I'm gonna think that you want to create a realistic character. That's probably the case here because of the hair, for example. So yeah, we're gonna look at it as if it's, you know, a realistic character. Okay. First of all, let's look at the eye width. We have the nose right here. Looks pretty good. Hold on. Can we actually make a line? Ah. Okay, it looks pretty good. It's not necessarily right on the line. It's usually a little bit closer, so that the eye shape, I mean the eye width is pretty good. I think the eye shape is what's sort of getting me. Let's look at some reference real quick. Okay. Looking at female face. No, let's look at my Pinterest stuff. I think that might be better. Okay, there you go. That's probably a good image. Let me grab a few and then I'm going to show it to you. Well, hold on. There you go. Trying to find a few that basically just, you know, are being shot from the front. So we have basically the same view. Okay. So let's look at the bottom eyelid first. Generally the eye shape is like this, very wide open. I think you can close the eyes a little bit, and I'm gonna tell you what I mean with that. First of all, let's look at the references here. You can see, I think one thing you can do is you can bring the curve at the bottom eyelid, the lower eyelid, I think can be a little bit less. Just kind of bring it just slightly higher. Very slightly. Like this. Looking at the references, you can see that the iris is very slightly either touching or being covered by the lower eyelid. You see it right here. It's touching, maybe a little bit covered by as well. here as well, touching, maybe a little bit covered, depending on, first of all, where the camera is or where the person looks at. You know, if this person, for example, looks upwards, the iris will probably not touch the bottom of the lower eyelid, but if the person looks forward, then it would definitely touch. I think bringing the eyelid down here just a little bit higher can help in reducing the eye lid or the eye size in terms of its vertical height. And then looking at the upper eyelid as well, I think you can lower that curve as well, just a little bit like this. Looking at the references here, you can see generally it's kind of hard to see because there are always shadows, but yeah, I think generally the angle at where it kind of goes, like the diagonal angle coming from the corner of the eye, is lower than in yours. You can see how steep it goes upwards. I think you can kind of lower the eyelid angle, I guess, a little bit to just kind of first of all decrease the eye size, and then also changing the eye shape a little bit like this. This looks kind of weird, but yeah, I think that's one thing you can do. Looking at the eyebrows. Okay, so the shape of the eyebrow can be basically described by the shape of the head. If we have the eyes right here, we have the bridge of the nose in the middle. Then we have basically the eyebrow middle piece here. And then looking at the side of the face, we have the cheekbone right here. And then the cheekbone basically makes a curve going into the middle and then backwards like this. And the eyebrow is shaped like this because it goes from here over here and then basically transitions to this sort of plane that doesn't go, that sort of this angle change. That's why you have this sort of edge or this sort of corner in your eyebrow, because right here it changes plane and moves downwards. So it looks like this. If this plane change wouldn't be here, the eyebrow would just, you know, do this. But because of the plane change, you create this edge, this corner right here, and then it moves downwards. Looking at your face, you can see that's why it's shaped like this. Maybe one thing you can do, you can try, is increasing the sort of sharpness of the plane a little bit, making it a little bit sharper. Although that's not always the case, but you can try. This will probably, or no, let's talk about the distribution of hair. I think that can help. Looking at the references here, you can see the tip on the outside is the thinnest, and then somewhere here in the middle, where basically the plane changes, where the corner starts, where it then goes downwards. Right here, it goes down. This edge right here, this corner, that's generally where the widest part is, and then it goes very quickly, gets very thin. For your shape, let's compare this shape to the shape that I mean. It goes like this, and then like this. Can you see the difference? I think you can shift some volume that you have here for the eyebrows a little bit more over here, like over here. So just make this part a little bit thinner, maybe increase the curve that you have here a little bit, and then make this a little bit thinner to, yeah, get it closer to, for example, these references here. This one, or this one. You can see all of them are the widest, where they basically change plane. That sounds weird, but where they basically have this corner right there, where they then go downwards. And I think you can do that as well here. You can see, I think it's overall just a little bit too much over here, too much volume. Just kind of making this thinner can probably help. Okay. There you go. The nose looks pretty good. I like the nose. Of course, there's quite a lot of noise, so you can't really see much. well, too much. We can still see the nose shape like this, you know. I like the definition here. The small little shadow that you have right there. So it's not smooth. It has some definition. I like that. Yeah, if you zoom in more, the noise will be distributed more, which means we can see more details. That's why I said zooming in, you know, can let us see some more details. For example, you know, if you zoom it in more, so that maybe this border here goes over here, this part isn't really that important. So, you know, you could do that maybe to so we can see some more details. But you know, we can still work with this. The ear position. Let's look at the ear position. This is the bottom of the nose. Zip. Okay, maybe we can lower them a little bit more. And then here's the space between the the eyelid and the eyebrow, somewhere over here. Zip. This is generally where the ears should end. So there should be something like this. A little bit bigger. You can probably make them a little bit bigger so that they might be hidden underneath or behind the hair, but it seems like this curve already curves in. So I think what happens here is that it ends somewhere over here. You can probably make the ear a little bit bigger. I think one thing also is the position of the eyes. Let's see if that is true. Going from the bottom of the chin to the top of the head, roughly over here. Are they in the middle? I think they're in the middle, so that maybe you can lower them a little bit. I'm just gonna note it here, and then we're gonna look at it later, whether or not that makes a good change or not. Right here, there you go. I think it's in the middle, maybe a little bit lower. I mean, higher. We're gonna look at it later. So, looking at it, eyebrow shape, right here. I mean, maybe, what is it called? Eyebrow grooming tutorials can help with how the eyes are supposed to be shaped. Looking at, hold on, eyebrow shaping at home. There you go. Let's look at it real quick. Okay. Well, for her, the eyebrow shape is quite clear already. You can see how it is wide here, and then at the corner goes very, very thin right away. You can quickly go over my last one too if you still have time. Okay, yeah. We're gonna do a speed critique after this one. Okay, let's look at maybe. Yeah, but you can see the shape here. Let's look at the final. Oh, hold on. Oh, there it is. See the shape. There's never really like a sort of bulge in the back here. It's always sort of sharper right here. So yeah, just kind of removing some volume over here can probably help in shaping the eyebrows a little bit, you know, a little bit better. Okay. And then the ears, the eyes, you can probably make them a little bit smaller. Maybe you can even make the eyeball, either you make the eyeball a little bit smaller or you make the iris a little bit smaller. I think that can kind of help as well. Right now, they seem to be quite big. I've never really found a good way to, or I don't have a good rule for the proportion from the eyeball size compared to the iris size. So maybe you can find something that helps you. Generally speaking though, the eyeball should be 5 eyeballs. Should form the width of the head. And then the eyeball should be, or the corner of the eyes should basically be the eyeball ends right here and ends somewhere over here. So that the eyeball is roughly like this, placed like this. It doesn't really go past the width of the corners, not really that much. That's also a good rule for the width of the eye, I guess, the eyelids. It's roughly as wide as the eyeball. Okay, it's not like here are the corners right here and there, and then the eyeball is like this. That's not really the case. Okay. Generally, I mean, the head shape I think is okay. The shape right here, you know, you could maybe define the jaw a little bit more if you want to. I think that is more preference. You could maybe define the hairline a little bit more. If I would draw the hairline, it would probably look something like this. Hairline is also defined by the planes of the head, like this. There you go. Yeah, I think the hair is good. Maybe you can, you know, define the hairline a little bit more. I think that could help. Nose, I like the nose. Yeah, it's a little bit noisy, so it's harder to see, but from what I can see, I think the nose is good. The lip shape looks pretty good. I don't really see if it's very defined or very, very sharp here. So, you know, can't really talk about that. But let's set everything that we've kind of noted here. Put that in to Photoshop. We also have a side view. Let's look at that real quick, just to kind of see if there are any more things we can note. Oh, well, we can't really see anything. But I think, yeah, I mean, I think the biggest changes are in the front view. Side view, what you can maybe note is the height where the nose transitions. Hold on, let me change the color. Can I change the color? I cannot, can I? Oh. Where, oh, okay, well, that doesn't work. Okay. Where the nose bridge transitions to the eyebrow. I think maybe that could be a little bit lower, maybe a little bit. I can't really see the definition of the nostril right here in the back. Could be a little bit smooth right now. I can't really see it that much. One thing that is very apparent right here is the the ear shape. Look at the ear shape right here. Comparing that to what we looked at before. Hold on. References. Face. For example, this one. Let's look at the real example right here. You can see the ear shape. Compare this one to this one. This shape is basically like this, where the C is open in this direction, and for them the C is open forward basically. So the shape you could change from this to something more like this. There you go. Okay, let's put that in Photoshop. Oh, wrong folder. Who would have guessed? There you go. Okay, front view. There you go. Of course, you added some makeup here, for example, for these. But I think looking at the raw face is a little bit clearer. So we're going to look at these without the makeup. Okay, so first thing first, let's look at the eyes. Okay. Eye shape, I think we can bring the lower eyelids a little bit higher and then the upper eyelids a little bit lower. So if we do that, why is it getting so blurry? Oh, because the noise is so defined, I guess. There you go.